So I wasn't originally going to do a video about this because, quite honestly, it hasn't affected me nearly as much as it has other YouTubers. I've never had one of my videos actually taken down. I've never had my channel come under fire or gotten a legitimate copyright strike against it. But a few of you asked me to weigh in on the situation, especially after I mentioned the situation in my recent analysis video. That situation being that the YouTube Content ID system is incredibly broken. And initially, I wanted this video to only be about 10 minutes long at the absolute most, and I also wanted to really go into detail discussing exactly how the system is broken, what's wrong with it, and those two things just didn't gel well together, and I opted for the shorter, more easily digestible video over the longer and more complex one. So instead of going into detail about how the system is broken, I'm actually going to recommend a couple of other sources you can go to learn more about the situation if you feel like it's something you're interested in learning. There is, of course, the original Where's the Fair Use video made by Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, that is always a good choice. But the source I recommend the most right now actually is a YouTuber by the name of the Mysterious Mr. Enter, who I was actually referred to by a friend over on Tumblr. He's been having issues with the YouTube Content ID system almost since his channel has been in existence. He knows a lot about it, and he talks about it a lot. Not only that, but with all the trouble he's been going through, he could use the additional views, so go check out some of his stuff. It's really quality content. That being said, I will put it very, very simply for those who do not want to go out and seek additional information on the subject. YouTube's copyrighted content ID system, which files claims against copyrighted material, not only does not follow actual copyright law, but it is entirely automated, making it almost impossible for you to dispute a claim, since any dispute you make goes to the source of the copyrighted material, not to YouTube itself, and there's a better than decent chance that they're just going to ignore your dispute and either monetize your video for themselves or force you to take it down. And while there are two stages of this, having something claimed is not necessarily the same thing as a copyright strike. It will not necessarily have your video taken down. It does prevent you from monetizing the video and being paid for the work you did on it. Now, if you are skilled enough, if you do enough research into the subject, you can work out methods by which to prevent the copyrighted content ID system from identifying anything in your videos, which most of the time is what I'm able to do with my Steven Universe videos. But there are some episodes that you simply can't include clips from in your videos without your video being claimed. I've also found that adding any audio from Steven Universe episodes gets your videos claimed. All of this drastically limits the creativity of the content creator, which is the antithesis of everything that YouTube is supposed to be about. And now, I'm not going to say that everything that goes up on YouTube and is flagged for using copyrighted content doesn't deserve it. Some people blatantly misuse copyrighted content in their own content. But to use my own content as an example, theory and analysis are both forms of critique. Critique and parody are protected under fair use. Now, technically speaking, YouTube is a private company. They don't have to strictly follow copyright law if they don't want to. But the issue here is that they pretend to, that they say that they do, that when asked, when they put out content of their own on the subject, they always claim to be adhering to copyright law, and they don't. My own personal experience with this system, as I mentioned, is fairly limited compared to some other creators, but I will put it this way. My very first video, the one that got my channel noticed initially, my video theorizing that each gem is made for a specific purpose by Homeworld, it falls entirely under fair use. But because I didn't know the ways around being flagged by the copyright content ID system at the time, that video now has 613,960 views, but because I wasn't able to monetize that video, I have not received ad revenue from any of those. And as I said in my most recent analysis video, the primary reason why I do this is not for the money. It's great being paid to do something that I love, but even if I weren't getting paid, I would still do this. But I will tell you this, when your work is that appreciated within a system that is intended to provide a monetary reward for creative content that is appreciated by the community, it's frustrating never to receive that reward, simply because the system is flawed and doesn't understand the difference between blatant misuse of copyright and use of copyrighted content that is covered under fair use. That's why this movement is titled Where's the Fair Use? Because as long as YouTube claims to adhere to copyright law, it needs to also adhere to fair use. And it doesn't. And like I said, I have found ways around the copyrighted content ID system at this point, but it severely limits what kinds of videos I can make. Any video including any clips from, for example, the episode Jailbreak will be claimed automatically, no matter what length of video I use, unless those clips are heavily altered. And considering that fair use is in place specifically so that I don't have to do stuff like that, it frustrates me every time I have to do it. So I encourage all of you guys to ask, where's the fair use? I encourage you to go out there and research the situation on your own, to check out other content creators who have been saying things about this situation, who have themselves become a part of this movement. I guess I'm a part of it now too. And if you have any experiences of your own with the very flawed YouTube copyrighted content ID system, and you feel like talking about it, leave a comment down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.